All right, we'd like to start here to welcome some special friends to us. We have the Crockett's here. These are some new friends of ours, actually, that we have enjoyed getting to know. We both have our own stories, and that's one thing about Survivors is it brings people together that have gone through very similar things. We always say it's a group you never want to be a part of, but then when you do lose somebody, it's a group that you want to be a part of because it allows you to survive. This is Heidi and her husband, Doug, and they're from Utah. They have lived in Utah the majority of their life.
Yeah, so Heidi and Doug, Heidi's been public speaking for over 10 years now, and Doug also does a talk show nationwide. We're really excited for them to speak on this really important subject about their daughter, but more importantly, about some things that maybe a lot of us don't know about, of people that have gone through this for a while now. It's been how to live with this. So we just want to thank you guys and just turn the time over to you and to have you tell your story.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're thrilled to be here, and we appreciate your friendship. And yeah, we've gotten to know you in the last couple of months, and it's our privilege. So thank you so much. This is Heidi and Doug, and we're happy to talk about our experience with Brittany. We're happy to be on the Survivors, and so we also are survivors, as many have been that understand this, that watch this, that appreciate when you go through those difficult things that are sometimes hard to explain. If not impossible to explain. And so I guess we can kind of just start talking about our story here with Brittany. Anything you want to say before I start?
No, I love talking about Brittany.
She's got a lot to talk about, and she was the majority of the caregiving in Brittany's life. But I'll just kind of begin this with Brittany. We had her when we were just getting started. I was in college and we were just beginning life and going on with things. And we loved Brittany. And we noticed after about a year, she wasn't standing or crawling. And so she was just kind of not up to speed or so. That's what we thought. We thought, well, something's going on. So we took her to a couple different doctors, different ideas. Some would even say, well, she's just quit picking her up so much, first grandchild syndrome. Everyone's picking her up. Let her get around on her own. And so we would try and do that. But eventually we went to different doctors and neurologists, and they were starting to notice that there were some issues there also. And the testing was hard to see. Sometimes they put her onto the bed and then kind of just tip her forward just to see if she had a reactionary movement to stop herself. And she wouldn't. She would just kind of face plant onto the table, and then she would just cry, and it was not fun to watch and go through. And then, but we did take her eventually to, the first neurologist told us, they said it's a certain kind of a muscular atrophy type 1, and they said she will not live to age 2. And so when you're young, new marrieds, just getting started with things, it's hard to hear that. As I like to say, you kind of scrape yourself off the floor with a spatula and go home. It's like, so what do we do now? But we went to a primary children's hospital, and they were better in the way that they handled the situation and were able to diagnose exactly what ended up becoming what's called Spinal Muscular Atrophy Type 2, which is a type of muscular dystrophy. Still not great news. It's unfortunate. And so she was kind of going through the processes, and we were too. Well, so what do? We got to get her into a wheelchair. We got to think these kinds of things through. And it made it difficult to try and they told us it is genetic, and all your kids would have a 1 in 4 chance of having the same thing. So that really throws your family planning ideas into a whirlwind. It's like, hey, what's the plan? How do we take care of this now? So
yeah, when she was first diagnosed, we brought her home, and we literally protected her. It was almost like, I can't even explain it. We wouldn't let her get hurt at all. We would put pillows around her. We just surrounded her so much. And that lasted about 2 days, and I thought I was going to go crazy. because it's not normal. I just wanted to protect her.
We're trying to fix the problem.
Yeah. And that's when we realized we have got to live. We have to do something to live. So we really started to understand that and start to celebrate her. So instead of just grieving every moment, because when she was diagnosed, she was 15 months old, dead at 2. We only had so much time. So we would have good days and we'd have bad days when we think about it. When she gets sick, she get extremely sick. And it's because of the weakness in their body.
Usually it's more pronounced in their arms and legs, and they're in wheelchairs and they can't walk, or those kinds of things, which are more easy to see. But really it affects even her trunk of her body. The ability to cough was really difficult. And so that became a real challenge with her getting sick, because she just didn't have the ability to cough things up, and it became a challenge.
Yeah, and her mind was fine. There was nothing wrong. So when you'd see Brittany, her fine motor was fine. Yeah. Like it was the large motor, she couldn't do much. So she wanted to participate in everything. And that became my new mission is, Brittany, what do you want to do? And that girl took it, and she took it good. So, Mom, I want to go in the McDonald's playground. Okay. So here I am as an adult, putting her on my lap, scooting through. I mean, all the kids are passing me. We are laughing so hard. She wanted to do it. She found a way. One of the most terrifying ones. Yeah. Mom, I want to go down a water slide. Okay. First thing, she can't breathe hardly anyway. We're going to go put water involved. And she wanted to do it. She goes, I don't care. So we get on the water slide and we're going down. And as the mother, I'm like, what? I didn't realize how fast.
I should say, we had to sit, there's a production to do that. So Heidi went down the slide and put Brittany on her lap and kind of just held on to her. And I had family and brothers helping and sisters. And so I was down at the bottom of the pool ready for the recovery, when they hit the water, got to get her out and those kinds of things. Go ahead.
Yeah. So when we're going, it's never looked that fast to me. And now we are screaming. And as we go, I realized we are going much faster than I thought. And we were going to pass them at the bottom. So as we get down there, I said, we're going under. I'm going to count to 3. You hold your breath and I'm going to push you up. And we did. And she loved it. And I said, never again.
Yeah. So Heidi hit the big water with Brittany and held Brittany up in the air. And I was down in the pool. So I grabbed Brittany and got her out. Heidi went under the water and pulled her and then got herself out. So it was quite a production.
But we would laugh. Everything we could do was laugh. And that would change the moment. And I want to give an example. When Britt would get sick, it would be where she would be in the house 2 months and had to be sitting in a chair. We'd roll her, everything. But our way of helping her get through it was we changed the decorations in the house. And so decorations became our thing, and man, did we go for it. And she could point, I want it there, I want this. And it helped her through that. It changed her atmosphere and all those kind of things. But there's one time we went to the doctors, and it was just a checkup. And they always would bring someone in, because definitely she was an experiment, because she was still living. She kept going, but she was very sick a lot. And they would bring people in to study her. And we wanted that, because the more they could learn, it would benefit others later. And so one time though, we were happy, fine. And they brought in this assistant, and the doctor started saying, do you see those deformities on her? Do you see how that makes her head not right? It's kind of big. It doesn't look good. And I look over, sorry. And she's sobbing. And I thought, wait, she's hearing all this bad stuff that isn't, I can see what they're saying, but it's not appropriate. So I stepped in and I said, could you please step outside for a minute? And I said, I'm going to go talk with my daughter and I'll be right back. And so I went into her and I said, Brittany, what's the matter? She goes, am I not ugly? Do I look this bad? And I said, no, you're beautiful. And I said, remember when we came in, you felt happy. What changed? She goes, it was what they're saying. And I said, we've got to fix that. They can't control us. So what are we going to do? She goes, I got to think of something that makes me happy. And I said, okay, tell me anything. And she said, I love when I go home and my dog is there. And my dog jumps up and loves seeing me. And I said, perfect. We started laughing. We started telling jokes. That's what changed that moment. And we said, never again are we going to let them control us. People will say things, they don't mean it, they're just trying to learn things, but we've got to have ways to lift us during those times. And in the hospital, when she'd get sick, they loved her because here she is not breathing well, and she would grab syringes full of water and shoot them, all the nurses, with the water. And she wanted to see Robin Williams movies. That's what she wanted to watch because it made her laugh. She almost couldn't breathe. That scared Mama, but it made her laugh. And that's what helped heal her in a situation where she's surrounded. And she would ask about the others that were around her. How's that kid doing over there? How's he doing? Because she could mentally understand it. And she wanted to comfort that family. It was the cutest thing. So she'd draw little pictures for them. And it became a little tender mercy. It was. And you can tell how sweet what she did with this cheerleader.
Sure. Yeah, it was when she was in high school. She had a wonderful experience that they caught on video. How she wanted to be a cheerleader. She enjoyed a lot of important outdoorsy things that she wanted to accomplish. And when she wanted to do that, a lot of that kind of relied on Heidi primarily and myself to try and help make these things occur. But this one, she said, I want to be a cheerleader. So we put the request through to the school. She'd like to do that. How can we do that? They were a little concerned. She could be in a wheelchair and do these things, but what if, if a basketball comes off the side of the court and hits her, how can we protect her, and those kinds of things, and football games, etc. So she put the request in. Originally, the school said, no, we probably shouldn't do that. The liability was too high, but eventually and gratefully, these were good people with soft hearts. And they said, we can do this. Let's make it happen. And the other cheerleaders came and said, to the leader of the cheerleading group, let's do it. Let's make this work. And so they went to the vice principal, and he agreed. Says, "Yep, let's let this girl have her dream." And so they had her be a cheerleader on the high school cheerleading team. They gave her the cheerleading outfit. They gave her a Letterman's jacket. They gave her a blanket, a school blanket. And so it was just a wonderful experience that she had in high school. Later on, it was wonderful. She was the homecoming queen for the high school. And so we had some pictures there as well with mom and dad. And so she was able to enjoy some things in life, or it wasn't just, well, you can't because of X, rather, let's just find a way to make this work. And so she loved that. She loved Disneyland, Disney World. And so just some thrilling experiences that we have with our daughter. She turned to the end. Okay. So
do you mind if I ask you a question?
Please do.
So I was able to watch that video. I know there's gonna be lots of other people who are gonna be watching it. And I know that she could not have done that by herself. And I know that it has to deal with parents who are willing to let their daughter do something like that. Can you kind of tell me how you got there as a parent? I know that as parents, you said, we're going to make things happen. And that is something that lots of parents wouldn't do if they had a daughter who had these issues.
Well, they would err on being too cautious, right? Like to protect, which is totally natural, normal. But how did you guys turn that and realize there's a better, there's a more positive way to live? How did you guys come to that conclusion?
it was the result when we first started doing it. We could see how it changed her and how it affected the others. So the doctors told her this will help them see. They said for 6 months out of the year, you cannot go outside because a cold could kill her. So she said, no way. There's no way. So we literally, my daughter's telling me I'm going and this could kill her. I mean, that's kind of a hard thing to face. After what I saw, what it did for people and did for her, she was right on. She was right on. And my job was to listen to her and play the role of getting her there. And so that she could affect other people's lives. That was my mission on doing that. It didn't make it easy sometimes. I can hear coughing a mile away. It's just a thing.
That's become kind of a little bit of a joke in our family, in our lives. We just said, okay, when we get to the other side, when we get up to heaven, the first rule is no coffee. No coffee. Because
right?
you can't unhear it. And so we're always so worried about those kinds of things. Maybe we can just say, maybe I'll leave that to the end. We'll tell the story, then leave it to the end. I had a thought, but
that's amazing. You guys were pretty much her hands to get there. And I think
and Heidi had a lot to do with that. She said, we're going to do this. Okay, we drive the van, take her to things. And she was in various different films. And so, some wonderful
And
things.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's really
it's a
hard.
lot of work. But
like, it's scary sometimes and it's hard. But I had to make the decision too on what was best. What did we, and we did it. And it paid off dividends for the effects she had on others and the effects they had on her.
It's still paying dividends.
Still.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. What are the, okay. So I suppose we had her, that's what's amazing. We had her for, they said 2 years, and now she's age 21, doing well. We've been in and out of the hospital countless times. The difficulties there were, and I remember talking to some support groups in the hospital, and they were great. And I appreciate that they could hear what I'm saying, what Heidi is saying, because they see it from other perspectives and other kids in the situation. It's hard to know that your daughter is coming that close to leaving this life multiple times. How many times can you mourn for the passing of your child? That was a difficult thing to undertake. And there's many times when, kind of how we in our faith like to think of it, we have opportunities to give blessings to other people, to our families, etc. And I would do that as often as I could. I'd go to the hospital and try and bless her to get better, and we would pray and fast and those kinds of things. And I just noticed it's hard, not that I noticed, it was difficult to have to, what I call, go to that door that often. And I told one of the support people in the hospital, because they would talk to us about, what do you want to do when the situation happens? What do you want to do with the inevitable this happens? And I remember I just said to him, I was just a little bit, not weak, I was just a little bit melancholy. I said, I can't keep going to that door. And he said, yeah, you can't keep going to it unless you're going to go through it. And actually, that was probably true. It's like, yeah, we're preparing for the inevitability of it. And even when you're as prepared as you can possibly be, you're never prepared. And so there was a circumstance that did finally occur when Brittany got sick. And I was gone for a little bit. I'm rarely out of town, but this time I was. When I came back, she was sick again. And we kind of knew what to do. We've done this before. We'll take her to the hospital. We'll do what we do. We'll just keep doing this. And so we took her to the hospital, and she was not doing well. I took a day off of work beforehand so I could be with her and gave her another blessing. Family was being supportive, but we hadn't thought the worst yet. We thought, we'll just keep doing this. It's just a hard thing to do, and we'll just keep doing it because we're fully involved and fully committed. And so then the next day I went to work and Heidi went to the hospital. Halfway through the day, about 2:00, Heidi gives me a call and just says, you might want to come home for this one. You want to come to the hospital. This is different. This is different than it's been before. In fact, go pick up Ashley, Brittany's sister, our second daughter. Go grab her and come up to the hospital, because this is a different situation. So so now I'm really kind of I'm at my office and I'm going through the morning cycles already. And part of that is, frustration, and I'm not even sure what I was upset at. It was just one of those, this is happening. When I was driving home to go get Ashley, and we had some really good friends bringing her out to the freeway, so I didn't have to drive into town. I could just get her on the side of the freeway and take her to the hospital. On my way up there, I remember just thinking, Heavenly Father, I need you to be involved. I want something different. I don't want to just have to think like normal. Everything's okay. Everything in heaven's going to be all right, which I believe, and I still believe, and always will. However, when you're hurting, there's some deep, deep issues that can come. While I was driving home to get Ashley, Brittany called me on her cell phone, and she was saying her goodbyes to me on the freeway. And so it's hard to know. It's really hard to even know what to say. I remember I did tell her, I said, Brittany, I'm coming, and I'm going to get Ashley, and we're going to get up there as fast as I can get there. However, if heaven's calling and you need to go, you can go ahead and go. I understand. And at this point, all you can just say is, I love you. There's nothing more to explain, nothing more to talk about. Just, I love you. I love you. I love you. And so that happened in the car, and I'm just, lost all emotions. And talking with Heavenly Father, so you're having these very real experiences with God as you go through this kind of an experience. And so,
yes,
go ahead.
It's so even though we had faced death so many different times, we lost her, and we had never experienced that before. We had never experienced that. So we had lost her. We were able to get them there and say goodbye. Sweet, sweet moment. The room filled with people. They all came to visit her and see her.
I was able to make it there. So was Ashley. We had 5 minutes.
And it was just a tender thing, and everyone faces things differently. But one thing that happened is after she had passed, when we came home, I walked in the house. I drove the van home that had the wheelchair. And when I walked in the door, her chair that she always sat in was there, and she wasn't there. And my arms were empty for the first time in 21 years. I had nothing in my arms, equipment, nothing. And immediately I started noticing things. I started noticing when I went in the other room, her pillow, her toothbrush, her chairs. I realized for the first time I've understood the worth of a soul. That is the first time I truly got it, because nothing was going to replace our girl. Nothing. And all of it was sitting in front of me. And all of a sudden, everything became precious more, because I wanted to hold on to it more. And when I'm watching this, when I was going through that situation, I thought, that girl taught me so much. And she taught me that I need to know that every single person I run into has been put there for a reason, and they are worth something. And that is how I'm going to survive. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go and make people my business, big time. And I did. And it became so much to us. And that became our challenge to you. Please make the people that you're running into, the situations that you're going to confront, make the understanding that their soul is worth so much. And they're going to give you something back like she gave everybody else. And we saw the effects of it so much.
Brittany's life allowed us to see the best side of countless people, nurses. We went to different places at Disney World and saw different people, and you can see the very best in so many people. And we were able to see all of that because of Brittany's situation. And we were able to be there and become instant friends. There's good people in this world. We know that. We've experienced it. We've seen it. And we appreciate that.
And we still talk about her. And it changes and helps people so much because we talk about her. Yeah. Some people have a hard time with that. We get it. Some people have to write it down, but she continues to serve. We call it serving her mission. She's serving with her sisters. Newport Beach is where other sisters serving. And she's on a mission still. She's just in a different spot right now.
She's serving the mission in heaven.
In heaven.
Yeah.
So our job is to keep her alive in our lives. So we do.
Wow, your story is amazing. And I just can't imagine walking into your house after your daughter's gone and seeing what you have always seen, but not being there anymore. And I remember that moment that happened for us, and just going in and everything just, it's almost like it's stabbing you every single time. Like that was something we did every day. And I love what you said, make other people your business. Mm-hmm. Most people would not do that. And that's what makes you guys so special, is that you saw what she did for others when she was alive, and now you're out doing the exact same thing that Brittany would have done if she was here.
Me and my wife, we were, no one saw us, but we were crying here because we were thinking, we're still kind of new to this. It's only been a year and a half. But today, our kids asked us a question, and we said, there's two types of people in this world when tragedy happens. Whether it's a fire or something, there's people that are running towards and people that are running away. Mm-hmm. And you guys have experienced the people that have run to help. And you guys are excellent examples of that. I love that phrase you said, that you became her hands and her feet. And I think what a more noble thing for a parent to be, for their hands and their feet to their children. And I totally can picture that. It's just like, Mom, I didn't have hands or feet, but I had you, and you were my hands and feet. So what an awesome story. I'm kind of choked up, really touching.
So when you think of survivors, I really think that you allowed her to survive while she had her time here, because you could have chose something that might have been easier by just kind of being comfortable and staying with what was comfortable, but you allowed her to live her life fully. And I know that she's so proud of you both for being willing to do that. So thank you for sharing that. You've
answered this, but I just wanted you to wrap this up. You've said this through your story, but we have a lot of people out there that have obviously lost children recently. And this has been over how many years now?
7
years. What would you say to people that are just starting this journey? You know, like from your perspective, like what kind of counsel would you give them looking back, you know, in the first few years to where you are now?
Well, it's not, when they're like the worth of the soul, you can't replace them. So as you're going through life, you can do things. I take it, and as things reminded me of her, it was hard to let go of it, very hard. But when we did let go of it, most of the time we gave it to somebody that needed it. So it helped us let go of it, especially her equipment. We went and helped other children that had this disability. We had to find ways to find peace and comfort. And there were days it wasn't happening. And then there were days where we're like, this is going to help somebody. Or if we talk about her, or if I can put my arm around them. But it took me paying attention. It took me paying attention to who was around me. Because then all of a sudden I started seeing even more people that were hurting, and I could comfort them. And that actually lifted me up and helped me so much. So
you were basically looking for ways to serve people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, and you guys, that obviously that's our foundation about. But I just want to say thank you. Doug, do you have anything to comment on that from a guy's perspective? I mean, obviously, as you know, that our wives and I, we have different perspectives, and guys are different. What would you say from a male perspective that you kind of noticed?
I appreciate. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's really, Heidi had her perspective. I had my perspective. We were both involved at different points and at different pieces. We knew how to do all the equipment kinds of things, but how do you prepare for something that even when you're prepared for it, you're not prepared? And so for me, it was one of the big things for me was, as we served by serving with Brittany, Ashley's our other daughter, serving with Brittany to go through these things, sometimes physically it's a difficult thing to accomplish. And sometimes you're like, I don't know if I want to do that today or tomorrow or whatever. But it's worth the effort, because when you look back on it, as they say, you've got a couple of years to do it and forever to think about it. You realize the benefits and the blessings, and then you realize your family's still with you in the spirit, as I like to think of it. And so I had to learn something. And I've had really good talks with Brittany right before she passed, even. I said, this is not an easy thing to do. And she agreed. She goes, I know this is hard. And for her, it was hard for her to be able to ask for everything she ever needed physically. She had to ask for it. And I agree. How can you do that? So we learn together. It takes us, and you learn something you're learning something you didn't realize you even had to learn. It's like, my goodness, I thought I understood how things went. No, when it becomes personal, it gets down inside of you. You see your weaknesses, you see what's going on. It changed me. It changed me. And that's why I do my Miracle Station as well. It's just like, I love being in that realm and talking to people about that kind of stuff.
Can you share that information so people can go watch your videos that you
Absolutely.
share?
Sure. Thank you. It's called Miracles When Heaven Touches Earth. It's a channel on YouTube. It's also called the same thing on Facebook. And I just recently made just a little group called Your Miracles. And I've got 40 different videos on there now, people that I've talked with, and put these little interviews together, set it to music, made them nice. But yes, I invite everyone to link onto there, subscribe, become a member, and let's have a dialogue about the miracles in our lives and how we're helping each other, how we're elevating each other. It's a wonderful experience.
And where can they hear you during the week, your talk show?
Oh, that's right. Then I'm also on the Vitality Health Show every Thursday. Vitality Health Show, Hope, Healing, and Miracles, every Thursday at 11 o'clock. That's on the Voice America Network. And so there is a link there on the internet. It's just the Vitality Health Show under Voice America Network. So if you go to Voice America, you'll find it. The link is on my web pages, and so you can find it all that way.
Wonderful. This just shows you these two, the worth of their soul is great, only because they have two daughters who depend deeply on them, one in heaven, watching them and being so proud of the journey that you're taking. But I'm also sure that Ashley, the one that is still alive with you guys, is so proud that you guys are her parents. And thank you so much for sharing the message of the worth of a soul. I want everyone who's listening to know that their loved ones who has passed, we're thinking about them. They are all in our hearts. You're in our prayers, and that soul, it hurts so bad because we love them so much, and that's how much that soul is worth, is eternity. We just can't wait till the day that we get to be with our loved ones again. And I know that Brittany will open those arms up, run to you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, an amazing celebration.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. And stay tuned for next week. We'll have another Survivors episode. And thank you for joining us and this wonderful couple. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.